Welcome to the deep end and welcome to July 2nd. Getting closer to our next go round in the Deep End Celebrity Series Summer of Love draft season of contests. Gonna work on the wording. But that next Tuesday night, we'll have a guest and be drafting, and we'll tell you one more time how you can join in on these drafts with us. Talk some Superflex strategy in advance of that tournament. Played a little I've got a slow draft going in the 35 FFPC, but not a lot over there. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Also, we'll probably hit an underdog draft unless Adam talks for too long or I spend too much time talking about my morning in the whirlpool jetboat into the Niagara Gorge. So you'll definitely want to hear about that. Mike Shope, Adam Krautwurst, welcome to the deep end.
The weather's beautiful, right? We're talking jet boats. We're talking I shot a 47 today, which is a season's best for me. The Krautwurst GUFC boys are at the top of the table.
Greece United boys
are at the top of the table. No red cards. Nobody, maybe we could show the U.S. men's national team a thing or two. But
the coach is safe.
I think the coach is safe for sure. So big times here, big times.
Fun times. The whirlpool jetboat leaves from Lewiston, New York, right near the mouth of Lake Ontario, but down, not right near, down whatever 10 or 15 miles from there. And you take a speedboat, incredible engines on this thing, into the gorge, into the rapids. I don't know my classifications of rapids as well as I should as a lifelong Grand Islander, but these are class 5s, Adam. I mean, we saw class 6s. You're not allowed to go in the class 6s. There's a point at which you can't see the falls, but you're like a mile away, and the whirlpool effect is just too dangerous. So you sort of look at that, but lots of spinning and flying and getting destroyed by water. I mean, it was a dream, a fantasy.
Yeah, no, that sounds terrifying. I think I did some whitewater rafting growing up, but I think they were probably 2s or something like that. It was some local stream or something. So
a brook,
a babbling brook.
It was a class 2 brook. Terrifying. You wouldn't like this ride?
No, I would love this ride. This would be I can't do the spinny rides. But I can do the ups and downs, the bumps.
Oh, this is both. I mean,
oh no,
what a thrill it was to be on the water today. So I mean, that's the deep end, 120 feet deep. That one section of the gorge. It's been there a long time, just whipping through, carving out rocks, doing its thing.
Yep.
All right. So enough about boat rides. We've got our next Deep End Celebrity Series draft next Tuesday night. Martin Biron, longtime NHL goaltender, WGR and Sabres host, Buffalo Sabres. He will join us. I think he plays fantasy. We will talk about that with him. And the idea is to bring in people you may know of who are not from the so-called fantasy football space to just give their player takes, give their thoughts on a draft, and have them help us. So no pressure, Marty, but that'll be next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. It's the 9 o'clock $35 Superflex draft. If you go to Deep End FF1 on Twitter, you will see the list of our drafts over the summer. And this might be the second or third one down. We did the Fantasy Pros and then the Best Ball. So I think it's number 3.
That'll be exciting. Superflex is like my favorite way to do it. I feel like I got to start like researching Marty's career. I'm not I know who he is. He was in Rochester for a while, but yes. I don't know much other than that. So I'll have to do my research for sure.
He was there when I was there. That's how I got to know Marty when he was playing for John Tortorella.
Yep.
In the Amherst. There was a Calder Cup winner, 96 or 7 in Roch.
Yep. There you go. That's right.
And
was he before or after Mika Norinen?
Kind of a contemporary. They were on the Sabres together.
Okay.
When Ryan Miller showed up.
Oh boy.
And then Norinen was sent off, and Marty was kind of Ryan's backup but they both played a lot. And then eventually Marty was traded 06, 07. So you're going to love him. If you don't know anything about him, anybody watching too, I mean, what a beautiful guy, great personality. He's a great way for us to sort of launch the celebrity series. And I love that he's said yes to doing it.
Perfect.
But Superflex is not my favorite. It's yours, you said.
Yes.
And I don't know, like I was the same way last year, just a little bit. What are you trying to do? I mean, we're trying to have fun here, but also find where we think we have an edge. And for one reason or another in Superflex, I always feel like they have an edge. So let's attack this because you're more in tune with it than I am. And we've got the fantasymojo.com cumulative draft board. I'm not sure if this is the last 5 days. I think it is. So the most recent drafts in the $35 FFPC tournament in which we'll be playing with Marty next week. And, you know, these are not actual drafts, right? These are ADP indicators. But we can look at individual players here and see, or even like what would be builds at value. Forget stacking on a chart like this. But I don't know what is one thing that jumps out. Look at round one. So here's one thing that jumps out to me. Round one, 6 quarterbacks out of 12 picks. Do you think the more casual player playing Superflex would be afraid to pass on quarterback in round one?
I don't think so. And you mentioned, you want to go heavy on quarterback for sure. And you also mentioned this is ADP, right? It's not an actual draft, which is a good point because the fun thing about Superflex to me is it can really take a life of its own. You might get in a draft room where people are like, you know what, I'm gonna push QB a little bit, and that changes everything. You might get in a draft room where it gets super draft heavy. There's different strategies that you can do. I was on a show last week. Stacey Perez invited me on to Fantasy and Frames, and we did a Scott Fishbowl mock draft, and that's Superflex. And it was a mock draft. There were probably 8 of us on the show, and I think there were maybe 10 to 12 people in the draft, and it was a comfortability factor to be able to just, you know what, I'm just going to take a quarterback in round one because I know it's Superflex. It's also a million other things, right? The Scott Fishbowl, tight end premium, kickers,
kickoffs,
kickoff returns, all that stuff.
Right.
And so, yeah. So I think it's the opposite. I think if someone gets a Superflex draft, they get in there to take quarterbacks, and they get in there and they're comfortable doing it. So, it's almost safe to just say, you know what, I'm going to take a quarterback with my first 2 picks, regardless of the player. But hey, I can get those quarterbacks out of the way, and I know it'll probably be, quarterbacks bust less than the other positions. They don't get hurt as often. That's one of the reasons why. So yeah, no, I think taking a quarterback in round one, 6 of the first.
Adam? Hi.
Did the whole thing stop?
Well, we've been recording the whole time, so can you edit it
I don't know.
when we're done?
Probably. Yes.
So you'll want to take out from about 8:30 to whenever you want to kick back up in your point about the thing about Superflex, 6 in the first round you were saying.
Okay.
Start a new point along those lines, and then if you can, when we're done, figure out a way to chop these 2 minutes.
Okay, cool. 8:30. Got it. I'm gonna text you. Okay. That was actually the last thing that I said, but let me see here. 8:30. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think that 6 in the first 8 picks is totally fine versus Superflex. 6 quarterbacks.
So if, again, this is not an actual draft, but you have 12 in the first 24, but first 2 rounds, 23 in this case, who's ADP, also out of the first 29, which, on average is each team getting 1 out of their first 2 picks. Is there one setup like that that's ideal or optimal for you?
I like taking 1 in the first round because it allows you to do different strategies. It allows you to take it the second quarterback whenever you kind of want, whenever you feel that it fits. Like if you take whatever quarterback you want in round 1, if your quarterback of choice falls you round 2, like I love Jaden Daniels, I love Kyler Murray. If they fall to you maybe at the 2-3 turn or something like that, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna pounce on this value. I love this. Or you know what, you can read the room. Like, oh, it looks like people are pushing QB. They're trying to get fancy. Maybe I can wait a little bit there. Another reason why I like taking QB early too is because you're going to get into the middle rounds and it's going to be round 5 and you're going to be like, oh my God, Brandon Ayuk. I know it's crazy, but Brandon Ayuk is here around 5. I know it's super flex and this one's tight end premium. You're going to want to take guys like Brandon Ayuk over Will Levis. Like, you're going to be excited that you got Ayuk. You're going to hate your life that you got Will Levis. So it's like, it allows you to be able to take, say, you know what, I have quarterbacks taken care of. I can grab all those other elite players at those other positions.
So if you look at this board, apologies to those listening on Spotify or whatever, but you've got, I said 12 in the first 2 rounds, 4 more in 3 for 16, 3 more in 4 for 19, 3 more in 5 for 22. That leaves 10 NFL teams with starting quarterbacks yet to be picked here. But we know there's some uncertainty on certain rosters who the starting quarterback is: Minnesota, New England, Giants even. So what is the farthest you'd potentially, $35, right? But you're trying to win big money. What is the farthest or the longest you would push QB to?
According to ADP, I mean, I guess I would probably push it to round 5 is where I would feel comfortable. But I don't hate Geno Smith. I don't hate Daniel Jones. But with those guys, I'm probably taking a third. Like if I'm taking Geno as my 2, I might take Daniel Jones as my 3, something to that effect. I like Russell Wilson as a third. So yeah, probably round 5. If I'm going to stick with 2 quarterbacks, I think round 5 is probably the last round I would wait to take a QB for sure.
What I see here is, this is more of sort of a player take thing, but quarterbacks in 5, Rodgers, Mayfield, Watson. Fine. Watson has a lot of upside. Maybe they all do in their ways. Levis at 6'12", Geno at 7'1", Geno Smith, Derek Carr at 7'10", Bryce Young, Daniel Jones. Then in 9, McCarthy, Russell Wilson, and Drake May. Of all of those guys, round 7, 8, 9, it's 7 quarterbacks, I guess. Levis makes 8. The 2 I like the most are the last 2 picked, Wilson and May, which is 3 rounds later. So this could be us next week in a Superflex tournament draft. If you had Allen like at 101, I feel like this is not a real team, but Puka, Travis Kelce, ETN, Ayuk, I would still wait, I think, and not pick Levis at 6'12" or Geno Smith at 7'1", because there is job uncertainty there. And this is still a tournament where the playoff weeks are going to matter a lot. So cross your fingers, Russell Wilson, whatever you have to do. Bryce Young is somebody who probably will be on the field. So, like Wilson for much of the season, if not all of it. Then try to build out your super team and push quarterback 2 until what is that? 8, 9. You could.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's fun to be able to try to do stuff like that for sure. Because I'm with you. I don't like Will Levis. I'm okay with Geno, but there again, if you can add a T Higgins and a Tank Dell to that team, you're absolutely loaded at receiver. You got your elite tight end. You got a running back or 2, if that's the way you want to go. And then you take, maybe you take the draft capital that you didn't use and you spend it on you wait and you take a couple quarterbacks later. You take a Drake May and a Russell Wilson, throw in a Justin Fields. I think if you're going to wait and do that strategy, you need to grab some high upside guys later on, like Justin Fields, like Bo Nix.
Yep.
A guy like Bo Nix where he's probably not going to be good, but there's a world where he could be good. And you get him at, I don't know what QB he is, QB 27, something like that. I think that's fine. I think that's a strategy. It's not the strategy that I use, but it is a strategy that I'm sure has worked.
Yeah. Nix at least is probably going to play all season, first round pick, say what you want, but that's a great point on Fields. Minshew, maybe he starts. Darnold, you see how it gets dry after round 9 or after Nix at least. And for the next 4 rounds, there's nobody left that is going to start most of his team's games. And before too long, you're into Taysom Hill country.
Yeah, that's right. That's wild country down there.
Do you have a thought on Taysom Hill, by the way? Could FFPC change his designation again? Because if they do, and I know there are people who are playing it this way, he could be a dream.
So what did they change it from last year? It was tight end to quarterback?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was a problem for fantasy players, right? Because how many times are you going to use his week at quarterback? You drafted him as a tight end, but the depth chart changed. So wouldn't the same rules apply? And if it goes the other way, he's not a quarterback.
Right.
So he's not a tight end either. He's a running back.
Right. Yeah. Right. And the thing is too, in best ball where you're stuck with that build, if you had him as a tight end and you didn't take another tight end, well, if he was your third or whatever, you didn't take, that's dangerous waters. But no, I just tend to avoid Taysom Hill for everything. I just don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it.
I love it.
Do you?
I think especially it's still early enough in the year where there's so little clarity. We'll be drafting these Tyron Tracy, Kamani Vidal types who might not ever actually play in the NFL. We're still doing that. Not even in the last rounds, in the mid to last rounds.
Yeah.
So Taysom Hill, if he has his position moved again, even running back, but certainly tight end, Juwan Johnson is hurt, Adam. Same coach.
Yeah.
I feel like Taysom Hill maybe runs the Saints.
That's right. He got paid such a big contract a couple of years ago to do nothing. It's crazy. And he's old. Isn't he in his 30s?
34, I want to say.
Yeah.
He's in his 30s, but there's no reason to think he's got his contract. There's no reason to think they won't use him. It's not exactly like the Saints are flush. How many Saints pass catchers or even skill position? Who can name 6 of them? We know Olave, we know Kamara, you and I know Kendre Miller, Juwan Johnson. Okay, are we done? Shaheed.
Yeah, I was going to say Shaheed. Yeah, I'm done.
And a lot of smart people think they're going to be pretty good. The division is weak.
Really?
Yes. Last year, they had a better point differential than a lot of good teams. Maybe Kansas City. They had 2 points different point differential than Kansas City, plus 75. Better than Detroit. Better than a lot of bad teams.
That's
way better than the Rams. Way better than the Bucks, who won the division. Way better than the Packers. Way better than the Browns, who were in the playoffs with 11 wins. Way better than Houston. New Orleans Saints, 9-8, winning record. point differential at least thinks they're maybe even better than that. And last year, how many pass catchers or skill guys did anybody know? And everybody hates Carr.
Yeah.
I think the Saints are like sneaky, smart play this year.
Interesting.
Which I don't know. I would draft Taysom Hill as often as possible, especially in Superflex. It gives you a little bit more insurance.
Keep doing it.
Oh, all right. Well, let's draft an underdog team tonight.
Let's do it.
There isn't a Superflex tournament open somehow.
Right. Come on. But
we'll dive into Best Ball Mania in a moment. We're recording tonight, so I don't think we can exactly prompt everybody to join us. But the circumstances were thus. Before we get started, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Hey, why do we partner with the FFPC? Because they have the widest variety of fantasy football formats, and it's the easiest place to find all types of fantasy football contests in the world. What if you want to play for high stakes? Well, they have a $6 million prize pool with their Fantasy Players Championship. They also have way too early best ball leagues that start in February and Dynasty leagues. They have the closest thing to a liquid market for orphans that there is in all of Dynasty. And the FFPC has sponsored us for half a decade because we are actually delivering information that can help fantasy gamers, and they're generating so much interest and bringing in so many new users, casual users even. The FFPC creates a unique experience where you can both compete against the best and make money. Use promo code UNDERWORLD to get $25 off your first team. $25 off your first team at the FFPC with promo code UNDERWORLD. Go get it!
All right. Let's draft, baby.
BBMV season?
Yes. BBMV. I'm excited. Are you ready?
I am. So I'm ready to hit enter.
Me too.
And then after that, are you sure you want to spend your money on this?
Okay.
Just prompt first. Here we go. Enter. Go. You can tell we don't do this every morning.
No.
How many is this for you?
This is number 5 for me, maybe 5 or 6.
Can you share it? Mine says 4 more to start.
Mine says, I don't know where it says that. Mine says waiting for one person.
Uh-oh.
I was right.
Mine says waiting for one person.
Perfect.
Who is going to be that one person? I love seeing friends in these. Last night in the aforementioned Mini Schnauzer 5. I mean, words that have never been put together in the history of the English language. Mini Schnauzer 5.
Mini Schnauzer.
There was Ian Harditz.
There he was.
Makes it even more fun.
Is it under his name?
No, Free Duke Johnson is Ian. Free Duke Johnson.
Oh, obviously.
All right. You and I are in here separately. Please relax and enjoy.
I read.
I am 6th. You're 8th.
I'm 8th.
Okay.
I'm 8th in a slow FFWC World Championship draft that started a couple hours ago.
Oh, wow.
My first main event World Championship of the season.
Didn't you come close to winning that?
Yes, I was in first place halfway through Sunday. And then my team stopped scoring fantasy points.
In the final?
In the final, yeah. Like first place for I think it's 200K. And they fell apart at the end. I had CeeDee Lamb, I had Jahmyr Gibbs, I had a couple others. Devin Achane, Kyron Williams. And what wasn't my week. Well, it was not my week.
No, it's tough.
I know.
Well, this will be, I don't know the exact number, only about 10 for me this year, something like that. Do you have a favorite draft position in these?
I like being around 8th because I honestly like taking running backs early. I was reading some good stuff from James Brickholm, I think Eagles. He's Eagles on Twitter. Yeah. And he was saying how he thinks that 0 RB can't win this year because everyone's doing it. So I like hearing that because I like zigging when people zag. So I'll go heavy running back in these, and see how I do.
Well, thanks for telling me because I pick in front of you.
That's right. Well, you're not getting a running back on the way back. I'll just tell you that much. Take them now.
Well, it would be Barkley on the way back. Look at Chase going 1, Lamb 2, McCaffrey 3.
That's fun.
It would only be Barkley on the way back, I think, unless there's a reach after that.
Yes, and I'm not even saying I'm gonna take two of them, but I'll probably take take one. Bijan, I like it. I might not even take one here either. If this guy goes Breece Hall, I'm probably not going to reach.
I do love picking Jefferson, but I passed on him here because of your advice.
What was my advice?
Pick a running back.
Yeah, there you go.
That was your advice. It was just a minute ago.
So player take season, I have picked 8, and the receivers are off the board here, and I've got Jefferson's on the board. I'm sorry, pick 8 for the FFWC one. Jefferson's on the board, Puka's on the board, and my guy Garrett Wilson is there. Any leans between the three of them?
I like them all a lot. I love getting them all. I think Jefferson is my favorite, but there are the balance with Jefferson is there are red flags because of the quarterback situation, but they're going to throw all the time, and he was 101 last year. Like it's still the best receiver in the league with a contract. If that's good for this year, and young. So I think Nacua would be third for me, except for ADP value. He goes ahead of Wilson, or at least he has been.
Yeah,
that's pretty close, though. I love drafting Wilson too. My answer would be Jefferson in a vacuum.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got the Discord going with some guys where it's a team effort. So we'll see. Yeah, I agree with you. Jefferson, he's like at an all-time record pace, and he's in his prime, and he's happy, and so I like all that stuff, So we'll see how that goes. But so yeah, I took Breece Hall here in the first round. I mean, I could see him being the RB1 this season. You took Bijan, fine. You're obviously Bijan over Breece Hall.
No, it's close. It's more just sort of whatever the day brings.
Yeah.
I like both guys almost equally. So does the market.
Yes, so does the market. Exactly. It's crazy seeing how high these receivers go. I mean, we're already at the Brandon Ayuk range. It's crazy in the middle of the second round.
Well, the theme this year has been nobody likes the second round.
Right.
This is for Gibbs to get to 2-3 is pretty late for him.
I know. I'm crossing my fingers, although this guy's going to auto pick Gibbs naturally.
Yeah.
The old auto pick.
Would you pick Taylor here if he makes it?
I'm thinking about it.
Running back,
and then just leave it alone
until next week.
Although
would you ever stop a underdog best ball mania draft at 4 running backs?
Yes, I would. But it would have to be like I'm on purpose. Like I'm going to take 4 in the first 4 rounds or something crazy, and then leave it be.
Well, you have a chance at a running back if you want one.
Yeah, I think I am going to do it. I'm going to
Taylor?
I'm going to go against the grain here. Take running back.
You like Taylor over Barkley, or is that just ADP value?
ADP value, but I think I don't know. So I listened to Dwayne McFarland today, Fantasy Life podcast with Ian, and they did the Eagles preview, and Dwayne was super skeptical. I mean, the same sentiments that you've been talking about the last month on the show. And part of me is just like, I don't want to overlook the fact that he might just not be good anymore. Like he hasn't been efficient in a couple of years. Being on that team, he takes Barkley. Perfect. Yeah, that's right.
You were saying?
You were saying? Great pick, Mike. That's great value.
I think this is cool. So I want you to get back to your point, but in these streams where we can test a theory or just like a strategy is fun, and we're going to do it 2x here because we both started 2 running backs, which we would never, but we're both doing it.
I would never. I just don't know. The thing about Barkley is his numbers haven't been good as far as like his efficiency metrics, and now he got hit behind the line of scrimmage 47% of the time last year, so that hurts your efficiency. But maybe
also, although maybe it's the same thing. He was on the Giants,
right? Exactly. Yeah. So maybe being on the better team helps him out. So I will have shares But in this one, I went Jonathan Taylor. I would have loved Jahmyr Gibbs, by the way. I mean, he's my guy.
No offensive player on the Giants has been efficient since Barry Bonds. So, I mean, like, all bets are off there.
I don't think they've had a 30 home run hitter since Barry Bonds. I'm pretty sure I heard that before the baseball season. So we'll see.
I would have picked Devontae Adams because Atlanta Vegas is a playoff matchup.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Week 12, week 14 buys here. Okay.
This is a little bit weird because I'm watching our stream with the board, but it's not my team. It's your team on the board.
Yeah, so be careful.
So I'm seeing, you checked your players. Oh, Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor. Oh, Bills. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not my.
Be careful.
It's your team.
I'm throwing you for a loop.
What do you think of Neighbors at 212? Early or late?
I was hoping to get him. There's no way I was going to get him where I am, but I love Neighbors. What does it say? What receiver he went as? It doesn't say.
It doesn't say, but it's going to be 16, 17.
Yeah, I don't mind him there. I think he's fine. I think it's probably where he'll end up this year is around wide receivers to 16, with some big weeks and some not so big weeks. So, but I would love to get him in the third. I mean, maybe it's just bias from being able to get him in the fourth. Right after the draft.
You pick Kupp?
Do I pick Kupp?
You did? Oh, he went in front of me. That's right. I'm in front of you this time. I'm taking Metcalf.
I like it.
Receiver, just first 2 rounds voting receiver, you're living on the wire.
Yeah.
So any kind of value that's 4 picks, we'll figure out correlation as we go. Seattle.
And I love Derrick Henry. So, looking back, it's like, man, maybe I should have gone Ayuk and then came back and gone Derrick Henry, but you just don't know.
The receivers, though, in that range
are so flat.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
I would have picked Adams with the correlation, but wouldn't have loved it. Olave is fine. They're all fine. Waddle is fine. You can talk yourself into any of them, but there's no seeming home run.
Right. Exactly.
You go Diggs.
So I went Steph Diggs. I just think with those receivers there, you're going to end up I think every week 2 of them are going to go off, but I think Diggs will be more consistent with I think it'll be Diggs and Tank and Diggs and Nico, but I think Diggs will be the more consistent guy there. I think they brought him in for a reason. I think they're really going to like him, and he's only 30, 30, something like that.
30, I think. Yeah.
30, yeah. So I like it.
The deep end here, Mike and Adam drafting an underdog best ball mania team against each other into round 4. And we both started 2 running backs, which is a crime against fantasy humanity.
It's a crime against underdog humanity.
From 6 and 8.
That's right.
I am at, forgot already, Bijan, Barkley, Metcalf. Adam is Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Stephon Diggs, all AFC. He's got a bias.
I do. We always start the show with the AFC, so.
That's right. Because it starts with A. That's why.
All right. See, I like T. Higgins, too. It's
no
amazing.
tight ends through 3 rounds. 1 quarterback.
Trey McBride, tight end 1.
That's the year we're having.
Yeah. It's amazing when you draft in all these different sites, all the different that the ADPs change so much.
Well, did we really sort of shorten the market for running backs? You're going to play against what other people are doing. And no, we were not ahead of ADP doing that. The point wasn't to draft 2 running backs to start. It's just sort of what made sense to us at the time. By the time you get back to us in the middle of the 3rd, it's all been sort of straightened out because it goes wide receivers all the way through to Henry at 3-4 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I think I've got the guy I want here. I think I'm going to go Kelsey. Just pushing.
Kelsey at 4-6?
4-5.
4-5.
Just pushing receiver.
I'll pick whichever receiver I like the most here. It's Pickens, Cooper, and Kirk. ADP is all pretty close. I'm not using anybody else's rankings. I know what I've listened to and read and thought, and I feel like, you don't need any of that. Kirk goes. You can. There's nothing against it, but I don't feel like I need it. I like Cooper over Pickens.
Why?
I think there's just, maybe I'm wrong here. This might not be the right answer, but there's less of a chance of it going completely nowhere. Like Pickens is
Right.
high ceiling, low floor. And Cooper, if you want to bet on, if you're willing to bet on Watson and that offense, then I think Cooper is in a great spot.
Yes.
And I am willing to bet on the Browns. The Browns have been really good. It's a matter of whether Watson can find any form at all. And I'm not afraid to bet on that. I'm more skeptical of the Pittsburgh offense, even though Pickens for a receiver is kind of on his own tier, like with Deontay gone and who knows who follows that. If Pickens is sort of consistent, you could have a huge year there. But maybe it's a little bit starting the two running backs. I want a little bit of a safer play. I think Cooper is a little bit safer than Pickens.
Yo, he's much safer for sure. And he's at that upside too. I mean, was it week 16? He went for almost 400 receiving yards or something crazy.
If you didn't have him in this tournament,
right,
you got beat. And, it's 16 teams. There was at least one in my pod that had Cooper. I had, other good players, but couldn't get to week 17 because I didn't have Amari Cooper. That's how that goes. Fun obsession we all bought into here.
Needed. That's right. That's right.
I'm in front of you here, and I still would just never with the quarterbacks. I mean, I don't have a stack potential, without AJ Brown or Devontae Smith or someone else. So it's going to be a receiver for me here, guaranteed.
I don't even have anybody to stack. You know what I mean? I have no quarterback. I have no receivers to stack with their quarterbacks. So
no, right. I'll take Keenan Allen to go with Metcalf.
Right.
At pick 54.
Man.
Bijan, Barkley, Metcalf, Cooper, Keenan Allen for me, 2 and 3. Adam is on deck with Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Stephon Diggs, and Travis Kelce.
Let's go.
And you can't get to Mahomes.
See, this is where I don't think I can sneak in. I would go Hollywood and Worthy to go with Kelce, but I'll go.
You don't think you can get both?
I don't think I can get both, but I like Godwin more than both of them. So maybe I'll go Godwin and see if I can sneak in one of them. More likely Xavier Worthy on the next go around here.
You had a look at Stroud there. It's early, but not incredibly early. Would you have ever done that? Or are you hoping for him in 6? Or do you feel like you're too short at receiver?
I feel like I'm too short at receiver. I don't want to take another onesie. I feel like I've got to take like 5 receivers here. And then maybe I can backstack. Well, now I've got Tampa. I can backstack here. Maybe some of these receivers I get. Chicago, I can backstack there. So I think I'm more along those lines.
Okay.
I also think I might take Rice over Worthy in the next round here. Where are you on Rashee Rice? I think we've talked about this before, but we've been doing some drafts together recently where Rashee Rice came up.
Fine.
Yes.
Won't miss that much time, probably. Could, but probably won't. And the trust has already been built. Everybody else is new except for Kelce. I think Rice is in a great spot. If he doesn't play 6 games, then he doesn't. And you're going to draft 6 or 7 other receivers tonight. So I think not massively, because everybody has been talking about this. But if anything, players are maybe still a little bit too careful and cognizant of the suspension possibility for me.
Yeah. I like him more in best ball. I don't know what they're going to do, man. They brought in. Oh, there he goes. Holy cow! Was that
62?
Yeah, they brought in Hollywood Brown. You know, they draft Xavier Worthy. It's like they still have Kelsey. It's interesting. He reaches for Rice with 3 receivers already and no stack there. Okay. So yeah, I just don't know who the guy is going to be there, and so, which is why I kind of like taking Rashee Rice last. Like, hey, all right, I'll take him as the 4th receiver or 3rd receiver off the board for the Chiefs. You know, after Xavier Worthy. I mean, I'm taking Worthy here to stack with Kelsey. I don't even love it. I'm getting him a couple picks after ADP too. So just loading up here.
Catching up. You're not loading up. You're catching up.
That's right. So it's one of the downfalls too to taking when you pigeonhole yourself with back-to-back running backs is if any running back value drops, you're probably not going to take it, you know, because you can't really. So that's the hard part about doing that, you know. And same thing with taking Kelsey. You would take a onesie position early, you're probably not going to take any value at the tight end spot.
You like to put 2 or even, I don't know, about 3 skill position players, teammates together without the quarterback more than I do.
Yeah, I'm okay doing it. I'm okay doing it. It's probably not optimal, but
this is just sort of trying to be intuitive about it. If they have a great season, you have the right guys, you know, you can ride that even without Mahomes in this case. That's fine. You got to finish top 2. And I don't think one quarterback should pose that much of a threat. Hopefully you have other good running backs and other good players too, and your own good quarterback. So that seems to work.
Yeah.
If it's too big, you get to those playoff weeks and maybe you're up against teams that have Mahomes and the same 2 guys.
Right, exactly. And it's like, you know, I understand what the optimal stuff is to do, and you try to follow that as best you can. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way, and you can't. You know, you just gotta do the best you can with what the other teams do. Like taking Rashee Rice, the guy didn't have Patrick Mahomes. You know, the quarterback stacking is an interesting. It's a draft strategy all into itself. You always have to go in planning to do it, or you can get caught up. Losing out on the players that you even like. Period.
It's tough because that sort of sounds like reaching, and you know that's something I would want to avoid. Like, don't rush into the quarterback stack, but you know you might have to have it fall to you sometimes. That's right, or else you're ending up drafting. There are some fun late round stacks though. Like that's New Orleans, who we talked about. That's New England. Everybody loves that now. Carolina can be actually not too scary. So we're into round 7. Yes.
Why does everybody love the New England stack now?
Because you have.
Oh, you're on the clock. Okay.
I picked Montgomery because of the price. Number 1, May has the athletic profile. So does Polk. So does Baker. Hunter Henry is fine. Stevenson got paid. It's not as bad as we're used to, I think, with the Patriots. And it can be just sort of desperation late in the game trying to put a stack together. They play the Chargers in 17, Buffalo the week before. But it can also be actually kind of cool, the Patriots, for the first time in a long time. CJ Stroud does fall to you in 7.
That was cool. 14 picks past ADP. I'll take it. You know,
with Diggs.
And that's the stuff, right? And that's the stuff that can happen when everyone's like everyone gets like their first couple rounds, and then they just start trying to stack and play off of those games and bring backs and all that, and they're just letting players go by because it doesn't fit what they're trying to do, and then you're able to do a guy like CJ Stroud.
Your Week 17 team now is Baltimore, and you draft in the middle like this. There are ways, whether that's Bateman or eventually Likely, right? I mean, you're not going to.
Right. And who's the running back there? Obviously not Henry.
Rasheen Ali is the rookie.
Oh.
Toward the end. You're thinking about who? Hill?
Yeah, Hill. Sorry. Excuse me.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay. All right. I won't.
End of round 7. I picked George Kittle in 6, by the way, if you saw. I like the value of Kittle at ADP, and I was able to get Montgomery for a San Fran Detroit Week 17. Following that, that's 3 pretty early running backs, though, so I think I want to be out of that for a while. I'm 0-3-3-1 through 7.
Yeah, I think I'm going to running back here too.
I'm not.
A couple ones I like. If I can pull it off.
Yeah, take whoever you want because I'm not drafting a running back. I can't anymore.
You're not allowed to. A guy that we both love.
Jonathan Brooks.
Yes, I like the rookie back. And again, I don't need him to do anything coming out of the gate. Throw him on the pup. I don't care. I've got Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor holding it down.
I picked Cortland Sutton at 8-7, and I was relieved. Easy wide receiver 1 on his team. And when you're down at wide receiver, like I was a little bit, 0-3-3-1, I needed a 4th one. The ADP board there's almost no running back, or rather receivers left. So right. I'll take Sutton could really help me a lot here on this team with the way it started.
Yes, he could. Yeah, he's definitely the wide receiver 1 there for sure. I've heard a lot of smart people like Cortland Sutton too, with the value and the, all the work he's going to get. What's he got left in the tank there though? Yeah, he was a nice get for you. What we got? Does this guy have okay, so this guy's got Josh Allen. He pulled it off. Team 11, Josh Allen, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel. He's in.
Wow.
He's in. He's in. I mean, he's got to go MVS, right? I mean, that's your guy.
I think I did that last night, but only because one or both of those receivers were like late. I don't know, Adam. I can't get comfortable with the Bills.
I mean, me either.
I wanted Jaden Daniels here, but he just goes.
Oh, Jaden Daniels would have been nice. I love Jaden Daniels this year. As opposed
I'll take Shaheed.
Yeah, great pick.
5th receiver, New Orleans. Team of the show tonight, New Orleans.
That's team of the show. So neither of us are taking running back here coming up. Javonte Williams, I feel like he's under. You can get Javonte Williams, man, in the RB 30s. I think that's a good one. I think it's a good one. If he's healthy, he hasn't been healthy. He's healthy.
Well, I mean, at that price, you can do it. I really sort of came around to not liking the player.
Yes.
That's Jay Moyer. That's Mario Puig. Just really didn't like the player. And the knee injury was bad, and there's no Sean Payton investment. He's got McLaughlin. They've got, a couple of Estime now. I think it could be worst case for Javonte Williams. He'd better look good in July.
Correct.
Because if he doesn't, they could be done there.
Yeah, for sure. I know Jared Smola from DraftSharks.com. He's pretty high on. I think they have him ranked as their RB 21 over there. So,
well, that would probably imply that he wins the job, and maybe he doesn't play 3 downs. But the other side of that coin, in Jared's defense, is that there's nobody else who either is a big investment. People are speculating about Pirine being released there. The other guys I mentioned, there's nobody that they have to see outside of Williams. But I don't know. I think the difference probably lands between Jared's position and mine is just sort of a player take on the runner. I'm not sure I'm right there, but that's what it feels like. And without the personal investment from the current Broncos people, I don't think they have to worry about it.
Exactly. I think he's going to be healthy. I think he's going to be good. But you're absolutely right. He better be good in July, or there's other running backs going to be breathing down his neck.
I was going to pick Brandon Cooks. Were you?
Yeah, I had him in my head.
You were going to pick him too?
Had him right in the queue. All right.
Right in the queue, right in the kisser.
Right in the kisser. Oh, God. All right. I'll go with my other guy, a sleeper I really like.
Wicks. That's not a sleeper.
Well,
Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, you're right. Hold on a minute. Wide receiver, where'd he go? Wide receiver 50-something? It's a sleeper.
You think?
I mean, I love Wicks, but I'm just saying.
I like that you can't see my queue. I'm hoping for Caleb Williams. I'm taking Caleb Williams.
Nice pick.
Keenan Allen, Metcalf.
Yep.
For week 17. I want to believe in it. I think, what is your sense on how the market perceives Williams? Is it more that he's 101, generational, great surrounding cast, or is it more, no, he's the quarterback of the Bears. We just lived through Justin Fields. Is there more? I mean, if it's going to be the mixture, right, of the pessimism and the optimism for Williams, but do you think there's more of one or the other?
The vibe that I get is a wait and see vibe on like, hey, yeah, I think a lot of people think his physical talent is generational, but they don't know how he is mentally, emotionally. Because a lot, that's why quarterbacks are so hard to figure out. That's why they bust so often, is because if it was just like, hey, who can throw the farthest? Well, that's easy. But there's so much between the ears that you got to figure out to play quarterback in the NFL. And I think he, has done some things that have made people question, just the maturity level, that type of thing. So I like him because I'm an upside guy, man, especially at quarterback. I love Jaden Daniels. I love Caleb Williams, the weapons that Caleb Williams has. Because if Caleb Williams is good, oh man, like he's gonna have an insane year with all those weapons with the rushing upside.
I'm really hoping for Jacoby Myers here. He goes, never mind. Atlanta correlation, New Orleans in week 17, then it gets dicey with the Raiders. And a receiver 6 would have been good there. So that's out. I have Cooper, but again, like the doubling up there, I'm not sure I'll get Watson. So I'm going to take Charbonnet.
I like that. Blake Corum.
More Seattle, Chicago.
And Blake Corum in the 11th round makes me not want to take running backs early, for sure.
Really?
I love, man.
I know.
He's not. Kyron's not playing all year. I'd say he's missing the whole year, but he's not playing 17 games. So that's all there is to it. Love my guy Freiermuth.
Yeah, the Rams do respect, and Corum might be fine. How many years of the Rams adding a running back to screw with us have we had to endure? Whether that's Sony Michel or Darrell Henderson or Akers or both again, like there will be running back carnage in the summer. And if Kyren Williams isn't 100%, Deontay Foreman is another one. They'll bring someone in, and then, cross your fingers. If Corum is good, you'll have it.
Right.
But if not, then Khalil Herbert's going to get 28 touches for the Rams in a shootout against Seattle.
Fine.
Or something.
I like Khalil Herbert too.
You'll take that.
I'll take it.
But not for Corum's sake, you won't.
No, that's right.
That's just like they're active in that. Not every team is. Most teams are not. But they've had injuries and they'll just go fishing for other running backs, and that puts the starter in peril unless he's productive. And Kyren Williams was very productive. Maybe he's not the fastest or the biggest, but he was very productive. So that's what you're up against.
Yeah, no, he was very productive. I think Corum is better. I think and I just like the way that they do the running back position there, man. It's like they ride one until he isn't good anymore or until he gets hurt, and then they roll the next one in there. And so there will be weeks where Corum or Khalil Herbert is the starter. And and hopefully I've got him, and hopefully it's week 17 or whatever.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
That's right.
Like, there are probably about 20 running backs in the NFL who could be the guy you need on the Rams.
I don't know. Like you said, they like Kyron and they drafted Corum, and I think he's good. And so I don't know if they're really going to be out hunting for more, though. Do you?
No. Well, they'll, again, like if Williams is injured and they'll need Corum to be effective, and maybe he will, but maybe he was just an okay prospect that we like more than we should because he went to the Rams. And we all sort of don't like Kyren Williams, and we love McVay. So he's got a couple things maybe that we're double, triple counting.
Yes.
Josh Downs.
Yeah. Listen, best ball darling. Best ball darling.
I'm going to try to get Dotson here. You mentioned Jared. He's not a Dotson guy, is he?
I have no idea. We'll have to have Jared Small on the show.
Well, we have one problem.
We can't even get him to golf.
We have two problems. One is that his golf league is on Tuesday nights.
Oh, that's right.
And it's July.
Yep.
And the other is when we were with Draft Sharks, he was obligated.
Yeah, that's right. Now we see his true colors now.
Adam, check out Team 12's build. 2171.
Let's check it out. Kyron, naturally. Team 12. Kyron, McBride, Pitts, DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray. To go with Marvin Harrison. So Marvin Harrison, Drake London at the top. Murray,
Cardinals, Rams. Yep.
Tajay Spears, Khalil Shakir, Austin Eckler, Kirk Cousins. Who's the one?
Williams.
Well, he's got Stevenson and Spears and Eckler. Am I looking at the wrong team?
Yeah. No, 12. Or is it the one? Sorry, it's team one.
Okay.
Sorry.
So team one.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. So the one is Trey Benson. Oh, love him. But
Trey Benson?
Not as my one. I like him as my Blake Corum.
Oh, okay. He now picked a third quarterback. He was 3-1-7-1 until Marshawn Lloyd.
There you
Interesting. Go running back all the way home.
He's going to go handcuffs all the way, or not handcuffs, but backups all the way home, and hope to cross his fingers for.
I do think running back is so tough to discern from the middle down that you could do that. You could pick 5 or 6 in a row, just try to correlate them, stack them, anything. I don't think it's completely nuts. 3 quarterbacks though at that time maybe is for me. I'm up.
You're up.
1-4-6-1. So I want to try to get somewhere with Cleveland, Miami, and that means I'm picking between Watson and Wright. And because Watson is avoided by some, I'm going to take Wright.
I like
Miami.
that. I had him queued up.
And that could be it for me at running back. 5-1-5-6-1, maybe one more, but not 2 more. Never ever.
Never ever. Never ever.
Chandler.
Some say he's the 1B in Minnesota
with Aaron Jones. Well, sure.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard they love him there, and
do they? Is that right? You think they do?
That's what I've heard. That's the word on the street. And Aaron Jones isn't getting any younger,
I was on the Purple Insider podcast with Matthew Collar this week. It's out. It's all mostly about quarterbacks. He's doing an underdog, or rather a fantasy week. And so he invited me on his Monday show to introduce that. Matt's an old friend of mine from WGR who's done great in Minnesota. And I know he has a lot of respect across analytics and across, Vikings country. And he wrote the book on PFF.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm a big fan of his then, for sure.
But you'll never read it.
I'll never read it.
Or PFF.
I love it. And what did he say anything about Ty Chandler?
No, we didn't talk. It was a quarterback show.
I was I was waiting for the Ty Chandler bring back.
Sorry.
I was waiting for the bring back.
Sorry.
I love it. All right, I'm going to go Baker Mayfield here.
Oh, you would.
I got to get a quarterback to stack here. I need my second quarterback. And I didn't want to take who I was going to. Oh, no, never mind. He went. But I couldn't remember who you had mentioned Cleveland, Deshaun Watson.
Watson went, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you taking him?
I was going to do it, but I couldn't remember if you still wanted him. I can't remember if that was because
I would have taken Watson here.
Yeah, okay. That's why
Cleveland, Miami, but now that's out. So
gone.
Looking. Well, I think I should do this. I think I should. That's just no, I'm not gonna.
You should.
I'm going Pop Douglas. I talked today at length, maybe half an hour, with Mike Giardi of Boston Sports Journal. And I asked him specifically, who do you think will lead the Patriots in receiving yards? And he said Douglas. He thinks Bourne might need time to could start on the pup. And then there's the two rookies. He likes Polk a lot. I like Baker more than Polk, but they're still rookies. So Douglas did impress last year.
Yeah, he had his moments. I had him in a bunch of FFWC leagues. He did well, here and there, little spot starts, but then he kind of fell off. We'll see. I don't know. I'm just kind of off the Patriots. I know you think it's fun to build with them, and I just am not anywhere near them. So
interesting.
They're super cheap. I mean, you can get that stack for free. You can get anybody you want on the team. I like Ramondre. The new coaching staff that came in paid Ramondre, so I like that, and he's an all-around back. So he is a player that I have been drafting, actually. Do you want to go the full draft, Mike, or do you want to?
We can wrap. It's over an hour, and we probably should because our time has run out on the network. There's a little bit of editing we need to do, but yeah, we can wrap here.
Perfect.
So next week we'll be in the FFPC Superflex $35 tournament. You can check out it's 9:00 Eastern. So you can find that one, or go to Deep End FF1 to see the exact, the league number. You can find it there too. Maybe you'll want to join. If you don't join, hopefully you'll watch us or listen next week and see how that goes. We have a lot of drafts coming up in the next 2 months. For Adam Krautwurst, I'm Mike Shope. Thanks for hanging out in the Deep End.
See you guys.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.